While Napoleon is consumed by his setbacks in Germany, another imperial front has already collapsed. In Spain, Wellington's allied army, a coalition of British, Spanish, and Portuguese forces, has decisively defeated the French at Vitoria, shattering the rule of King Joseph's grip in Spain. The situation for France is grim. Desperate to stabilize the peninsula, Napoleon dispatches Marshal Soult, one of his most dependable commanders, to take control. Soult's immediate task is monumental: rebuild a demoralized army, halt the Allied momentum, and prevent an invasion of France itself. To do this, he must drive Wellington's forces back across the border. His success hinges on a single, urgent objective: breaking the Allied sieges at Pamplona and San Sebastian. In the north, the siege of San Sebastian is underway, led by British General Graham. Wellington himself is stationed at Lesaca, his forces widely dispersed across the rugged terrain. Sensing an opening, Soult plots to catch the Allied commander by surprise. On July 22nd, the French marshal intentionally leaks false intelligence, suggesting he will cross the Bidasoa River near the coast to relieve San Sebastian. But this is a feint. The real blow will fall far to the east. Soult divides his massive army into separate striking columns. General D'Erlon, commanding 21,000 men, moves into position to assault the treacherous Maya Pass. Meanwhile, Soult quietly concentrates his main force of 40,000 men even further east, are ordered to strike hard through the historic Roncesvalles Pass. Soult intends to open a direct, unobstructed path straight to Pamplona. It is July 25th, 1813. The quiet mountains erupt into violence at the Maya Pass. General D'Erlon's massive infantry corps slams directly into General Stuart's isolated British defenders. The Allied line buckles under the immense weight and pressure of the advancing French columns. Though Lord Dalhousie rushes reinforcements to the front, the Allied defenders are slowly and brutally pushed backward, contesting every inch of the Bastan Valley. Yet the true nightmare is unfolding further east. Marshal Soult personally leads his main army against the fog-shrouded peaks of the Roncesvalles Pass. Here, General Cole and his Spanish allies are forced into a desperate, bloody stand against 40,000 French veterans. Heavily outnumbered, the Allies fight two heroic defensive actions, stubbornly holding the high ground against impossible odds. Deploying into their iconic thin red line, British infantry unleash devastating, disciplined volleys, shattering the French columns as they struggle up the steep mountain slopes. Despite the relentless pressure, the Allied lines hold firm throughout the grueling afternoon. But by 5 p.m., with the threat of envelopment growing, General Cole makes a painful decision. He orders his men to abandon the very peaks they had bled all day to defend. By dawn on July 26th, the Pyrenees are gripped by a state of controlled chaos. The Allied frontier has been breached, but the campaign is far from decided. Soult's masterstroke begins to lose momentum. While his main force cleared Roncesvalles, D'Erlon's columns are moving through the western passes with agonizing slowness. Word reaches Wellington that his defensive line has been compromised and that both vital passes are now in French hands. Correctly deducing that Soult's ultimate prize is Pamplona, Wellington acts instantly. He issues urgent orders for his scattered divisions to fall back and unite into a formidable defensive barrier just north of the city. As the retreat begins, General Hill's 2nd Division executes a flawless fighting withdrawal through the western valleys, skillfully delaying and shadowing D'Erlon's sluggish advance. With the French vanguard closing fast, the converging Allied army takes up strong positions along the steep rocky ridges north of Pamplona. On July 27th, Soult arrives at the foot of the Allied ridge. However, he abruptly halts his advance, unwilling to attack until the lagging divisions of his main column finally catch up. Wellington uses this breathing room to solidify his lines, preparing for a decisive showdown at Sourauen. When Soult finally launches a massive frontal assault on July 28, it ends in disaster. The dense French columns are ruthlessly torn apart by disciplined British infantry firing from the safety of the reverse slopes. Sensing the French momentum shatter, Wellington unleashes a perfectly timed counterattack on his left, outflanking the French right wing. The blow breaks Soult's lines, turning the battle into a full French retreat. Seizing the initiative, Wellington shifts to a relentless offensive. The French army begins to fracture while Soult tries to maintain the main body. Isolated units like General Foy's division are cut off entirely, forced to flee blindly back toward France. Gathering what remains of his strength, including the corps of Reille and Clausel, Soult pivots toward the western valleys. But as he marches, he runs directly into the forces of General Rowland Hill. Hill, having tracked the French meticulously since Maya, is perfectly positioned. When Soult links up with d'Erlon's tardy columns, they attempt a desperate, aggressive push against Hill near Lizazo. Hill declines a costly, static stand, opting instead for a masterful, highly disciplined fighting retreat. After failing to defeat Wellington's army and lifting the siege of Pamplona, Soult realized the danger and the possibility of entrapment. Instead of the same path that d'Erlon's corps had taken, he decided to retreat towards Saint Esteban, a narrower mountain path. Wellington chases after him. He splits his command, sending a dedicated force east to hunt down the stranded French divisions, while leading his main columns on a forced march to trap Soult against the western mountain barriers. The pace is punishing. Fast-moving British and Spanish units intercept the French rearguard at Saint Esteban. The resulting skirmish is sharp and costly, forcing Soult to bleed precious time and ammunition just to keep his bottleneck column moving. Then, Soult learns that British forces have already reoccupied the Maya Pass. There were intelligence of British forces around the Bastan Valley. However, the British under Hill did not find any French forces, so he turned back and gave chase to the road that leads north to San Sebastian. While Spanish troops hold the road of the town Yanzi, and with Wellington closing from behind, Soult orders Reille to clear an escape route at all costs. The French launch a desperate assault, violently smashing through the Spanish screen to force the road open. A small British-led detachment brigade under Alton managed to cut up a column of retreating French troops on the slopes above. The British harassed the retreating French columns, which further disintegrated into chaotic retreat. By August 2nd, the French army of Spain is broken. Soult leads the exhausted remnants of his force back toward the French border, but the Allies offer no peace. Near Itixalar, the French rearguard is forced into a final, brutal stand to buy time. It is a grim, close-quarters struggle amidst the Rocky Mountain paths as Allied vanguard units strike repeatedly at the tail of the retreating column. With Soult's army driven back, the French garrisons at Pamplona and San Sebastian are left to their fate. The grand counter-offensive has failed. Soult's bold gamble cost him over 13,000 casualties and entirely destroyed his army's offensive capability. By decisively securing the frontier, Wellington has broken the French grip on the Pyrenees, effectively sealing the liberation of Spain.